how can you increase the impact of RevOps on your organization? Many of you are probably stuck in system admin land or busy putting together ad hoc reports or trying to calculate commissions right now. But I think if revenue ops is done properly, you will end up being a trusted advisor for your commercial leadership and for your C-level. So first of all, why do I think that's actually the case? Revenue operations sits in a very unique position between finance and the commercial execution. Lots of knowledge on the finance side around numbers that are difficult to understand for the commercial side, and vice versa. You as revenue operations will basically be seeing both worlds. But also what you're exposed to is the full funnel end-to-end view. You will understand and know what's going on in marketing, how that affects sales, and how that affects customer success and your customer base. Really having that end-to-end view, it's probably only a very small handful of people outside of revenue operations that will have a similar understanding, and it won't be your CEO. If you as revenue operations don't have that skill right now, I definitely urge you to start investing and trying to understand that full end-to-end view. And then once you have that, how do you actually leverage that in order to tangibly create value for organization? And it really starts with creating monthly and quarterly business reviews for your commercial leadership and eventually also for your C-level. And what you will be covering in those MBRs and QBRs is, sure, you will talk about the past a little bit, what did we do, what did go well, what didn't go well, but you shouldn't dwell too much on these topics because usually your VP sales or your VP marketing already knows all of these things. Instead, you should be focusing on next quarter. What do we need to improve? What do we need to change in order to hit the revenue target for next quarter? That is a much more impactful and interesting conversation for everyone around the table. And once you're starting about next quarter, it won't be long before someone asks you, well, what about next 6 months? What about the next 12 months? What about next year's budget? And really, once you're starting to be part of the budgeting conversation, a lot of the skills and knowledge that you have built up in revenue operations really will come to full fruition in the planning process, creating a true bottom-up plan next to the financially driven top-down planning process that truly is going on in your organization. If you do this really well, this really means that you have your first step towards predictable revenue, having a bottom-up plan that you then can diligently and relentlessly execute, for next year, checking in monthly and quarterly in your revenue cadence. So really taking away from this is how revenue operations can increase the impact in the organization by basically helping the team to go closer to achieving predictable revenue.